If a Muslim hacked into the US computers, he would have been charged with theoretical things that he could have done with the sensitive info, e.g. the info could have been used to help terrorists. This is plain racism. Makes no difference if charges are different. Muslims are always treated differently, says anonymous texter. To the guy who said Guantanamo Bay is not governed under international law, Guantanamo Bay was captured from the Spanish by the US in the Spanish-American War of 1898. As far as I know, it is technically an American overseas territory and is subject to international law and local law, including military law. That's what I love about this show. Edutainment. We may be missing a lot out of this topic by a comment made by the Home Secretary. She wants all future decisions to be made by a judge and never by a Home Secretary. Exactly. If she'd said that 2 weeks ago, it would have been different for Mr. Ahsan's family. And Mr. Ahsan, of course. Valin Truro said, I've obviously been labouring under a misapprehension for years because I always thought extradition was sought for people who commit crimes on foreign soil, then flee back to their home countries. Perhaps I need to go back to school and re-educate myself. Great debate. Thank you. McKinnon hacked the Pentagon and NASA systems. That is a huge deal. How can you say it's not important? This is laughable. I'm Muslim. If I did that, it'd be all over the news. I'm a criminal lawyer. UK courts can deal with any criminal matter. It makes no difference what the charge is. Everyone should be tried here. Theresa May has just confirmed the government has double standards towards Muslims. I think the policy is just as racist as them pathetic people who can be anti-American. I can understand being anti-Bush, anti-Obama, etc. But how can people be so small-minded to blame an entire country? It's like saying all Pakistanis are racist because because a few kill Christians. It's all based on individual cases. Well, that would make Osama bin Laden a racist, as you probably know if you listen to the show regularly. I did interview someone a couple of weeks ago who interviewed Osama bin Laden, who believed the attacks on 9/11 were good because every American taxpayer was complicit. There you go. Let's speak to Aftab. Good afternoon, Aftab.
Hi, Neil.
How are you?
I'm well.
I'm guessing by your name that you're a Muslim.
I am, yes.
As a Muslim, do you feel, though, are you angry and frustrated that it seems to you that there are double standards, or do you believe that people who think like that are carrying a chip on their shoulder?
I am left seething, I'll be honest.
Okay.
It's evident to anyone who's actually been following the two cases what's happened. I don't think there's anything that can be said that hasn't already been said. You've got Talha Ahsan and you've got Gary McKinnon, both Asperger syndrome sufferers, and Theresa May, who'd intervened to block the extradition for Gary McKinnon, only pointed to the case of the fact that he could be suicidal if extradited. The same was true for Talha Ahsan, and the fact is Talha Ahsan was extradited and Gary McKinnon wasn't. Now, it's also true that she's looked at Gary McKinnon's evidence, but flatly refused, I suppose, to actually look at Talha Ahsan's medical, the evidence against it all.
Well, backing up what you're saying, Aftab, a European Court of Human Rights hearing in March of this year said that before Mr. Ahsan was diagnosed with Asperger's, a psychiatrist, and I quote, a psychiatrist had predicted a high risk of serious depression leading to suicide if Ahsan were to be extradited and placed in solitary confinement for a long period.
That's right. I don't know what else can one say. I mean, it's absolutely clear what's happened here. It's why it's only 2 weeks after as soon as they was extradited, the laws, they're bringing about this forum change. They've also blocked the extradition. It was quite clear what's happened. They wanted to get the Muslims out and stop Gary McKinnon from being extradited. It reeks of double standard. I don't think there's anything else that can be said about that. Evidently clear.
Okay, I mean, they're saying that, the charges against Mr. Ahsan were such that they exhorted Muslims, or certainly this website, the Azam website, exhorted Muslims to travel to Chechnya and Afghanistan in order to defend those places, and also that classified USA Navy plans relating to a US Navy battle group in the Straits of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf had been sent to the website. Mm-hmm. Now, that's clearly different, isn't it?
Well, it is, but again, it's irrelevant if you look at what's actually happened. What we're talking about is, does it smack of double standards? Now, as you'd read out, what Theresa May's decision for blocking Gary McKinnon's extradition, it's got nothing to do with the charges. So the fact that whatever's happened is, in terms of charges levied at them, is irrelevant. We're not saying that Talha Ahsan he shouldn't have been tried or anything. It's a case of where should he be tried, and was extradition right? The fact is, okay, now the DPP is going to decide whether Gary McKinnon should be prosecuted. The same could have happened for Talha Ahsan. But actually, what happened? Theresa May refused to actually block the extradition for Barbara Ahmed, Talha Ahsan, and as soon as they went off, all of a sudden, everything's, the extradition for Gary McKinnon has been blocked.
Okay,
Aftab, could have happened for Talha, but 2 weeks later, see what's happened.
Aftab, thank you very much, my friend. The extradition of Talha Ahsan and the excusing of Gary McKinnon by the Home Secretary stinks. It's convenient and dodgy that the Home Secretary took this decision at this point in time, and it's horrible what his family is going through. I'm also happy that Gary was not extradited. However, for argument's sake, I feel like his alleged crimes were more anti-American than Talha's alleged crime, as even though the server was in America, Gary hacked into the American database and left message, whereas Talha just had servers in America. You have to understand, people with Asperger's do things that are different. What Talha did was not an offence in the UK. If he did the offence in the UK today, running Azam, it might have been an offence. He took the website down in 2001 after 9/11. It is the American government who have a different legal system. It is the fault of the Labour government for drawing up the treaty which discriminates against Muslims. It is racist and Islamophobic. Gary was on the front page of the Daily Mail. The general public is ignorant. If Theresa May did not block Gary's extradition, she would be seen as unpopular by the mainstream public, including the Daily Mail. They are both extremely vulnerable. It is sick the way Talha is being treated. Okay, thank you very much. That is a very, very lively hour indeed. Thank you for getting involved.